Okay, sorry we had some storage difficulties with the phone, but no, he gets his knives, his mask, and some stuff, and he kind of stalks throughout the days, following Laurie Strode, which is known as Laurie Strode, who is played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and he stalks her throughout the day, watches her in school, watches her leave school, follows her from school, and he kind of sees wherever she goes throughout the night, and he stalks her and her friends a little bit, and then he finally makes his move, and then the night kind of really begins. He kills Annie, which is one of Laurie's friends, in her car, and then another group of friends pull up, Linda and Bob, and he stalks them while they're having sex, and whenever they're done, Michael hides, and Bob comes in, gets a beer or whatever, and Michael comes out, stabs him up on the wall. He walks up the stairs, goes up the stairs to where Linda is, and he kills her with a phone cord. And then, while he kills Linda, she's on the phone with Laurie, and Laurie can hear what's happening, and she's like, knows all these strange things are going on. So Laurie takes it upon herself to go across the street to where they were babysitting, and she checks out the house, and then whenever she finds all the bodies, she backs up into a room and into a closet, and that's where Michael's hiding, and Michael pops out, goes to the stab, and then she breaks out of the house, goes across the street where she originally was, and then Michael starts harassing her some more. Whenever Laurie finally gets him on the ground, she thinks he's dead. Laurie goes to walk down out of the house, and that's when Michael rises back up again and starts choking her. Well, she takes his mask off, and he's like kind of in a little bit of disbelief, and that's when Michael's doctor, Dr. Loomis, shows up, goes upstairs, and he shoots Michael 6 times, and then Michael falls off the roof. And then at the shot, you see Michael just kind of dead on the ground. You think he's dead, and then Dr. Loomis goes over the balcony to look at him, and Michael's just gone, and then the movie ends. As you can tell, it's if you watch the movie, I explained it pretty quickly, but it's very interesting. Like, in the movie, there's no description of like why he does what he does. He just goes on a killing spree without no story. Now, going on to Rob Zombie's movie, starts off kind of in this I wouldn't say trailer, but it's in a house, but it's just very raggedy and just trashy. And it's typical Rob Zombie's movies, because that's kind of how they are. They're very dirty like that. And it starts off with a family kind of arguing at the breakfast table and saying all these vulgar things, and I really won't quote them because it's pretty disgusting, but there's some stuff said. And then the first shot of Michael, you see he's killing his pet rat, and then all this stuff's going on, and Michael and Michael's stepdad getting a little bit of an argument at the table, and then Michael goes to school, and he's getting bullied by all these kids because his mom's a stripper, and his sister's I guess you could call her the town whore. And then, Michael follows one of the bullies going home, and he kills him with a stick, a big stick, not just a stick. And then Michael goes to the sanitarium, and you get to see him kind of grow up in a way, and you get to see like Dr. Loomis talking to him for 15 years and you kind of get to see him, and they give him this whole story and everything. And then Michael breaks out of the sanitarium 15 years later, and you get to see him like his break scene, and he kill the cops, and then you see him get his jumpsuit from a trucker, and well, whatever. I'm not good with the 2007. I mean, I've seen it many a times, but it's a hard movie to describe. But he same thing. He kills the same characters: Linda, Bob, Annie. He kills all them, and then goes on the whole stalking spree, or lurking at least, and goes after Lori. But the difference is, whenever they're on the second floor of the house, he, instead of Dr. Loomis coming up there and shooting him off, Michael just tackles Lori off the balcony, and then it end of scene. It cuts to the next scene, and Lori's on top of him with a gun, and she just shoots him in the head, and apparently he dies. That's what you think. And then that's the end of the movie. So these two movies they're similar and they're different in many ways, but the main problem I see in what makes Michael scary is that you don't need to give him a backstory. You don't need to give him a backstory to like why he does what he does. Like in Rob Zombie's movie, he was filled with all this anger because his stepdad was very crappy to him, and then he had everybody or people at the school kind of just bullying him in a way just because he had a bad life, just a bad life in general, with his mom being a stripper, his sister being a whore, and his dad or his stepdad treating him like crap back home. But the two movies, and then the 78 John Carpenter's Halloween, it's not what you would think out of a horror movie. When you think of a horror movie, you think there's a lot of blood and whatever stuff, but the 78 Halloween is very clean. You don't see blood at all. It's very clean. And then in Rob Zombie's Halloween, it's gory, blood everywhere in every kill. I can't imagine how much money they spent on the 2007 Halloween just for the blood effects in general. But no, and then you compare the two Michaels. One of them is 5'11", which was the one in 1978, and then in Rob Zombie's, the other one, he's 6'11". So take it for what you want. I mean, if you look at a 6'11" person and he's doing these things, yeah, that's pretty scary, and I mean that's horrifying. But when you see a guy that's 5'11" and has the exact same strength or even more, that's pretty scary as well, especially when you don't know exactly why he's doing it. But and then another thing you can compare for these movies are the mask. The John Carpenter's mask, he really didn't know what he was going for, I don't think, which, I mean, it's a great mask, but he didn't know if he really wanted to just go with the simple clown mask or just a face of a pale blank person in general. So they ended up using a replica of William Shatner, who played in Star Trek. They used a replica of his face and just like cut out the eye holes and stuff, and just spray painted it white, spray painted the hair brown. And they said whenever the guy Nick Castle put the mask on, the man who played Michael Myers, and they had him in the jumpsuit and everything, they thought that was just the scariest thing ever. So, and then that goes for the same thing for Rob Zombie. It's not exactly the William Shatner replica, but it's very kind of just a beat down version of the 1978 mask, which it still looks very good. But no, I think when it comes to like what Michael should be which, or I would more prefer the 1978 version, just because you don't need all these stories and all these opinions about like, oh, why does he do this, why does he do that. I think it's just better just to leave that fact alone, where it's like, okay, we got this psychopath and I don't know how to stop him. Nobody knows how to stop him, and we can't get to him just because we don't know why. And I guess something just clicked in his brain where he's like, okay, kill, that's it. But no, that's all I have on comparison for those two movies. Thank you, Dr. Kempker, for letting me do this at a later later fashion, and that's it.